UNC TV, where we will be covering the presidential debate for the incoming Unsa. And as a precursor to that, I will be hosting the outgoing government, and on the panel today, we have Melvin Thogo, the current Unsa president, as well as Mr. Musia, who is the governor for the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. And just to kick off the conversation, I would love to hear about your experience in leadership, considering that you were the first cohort after the restructuring of the faculty system. Tell us about that. Let's start with you, Melvin.
Thank you so much for giving me the first opportunity. And reflecting on how it's been, I had the privilege of being in the last government just before the restructuring, so I can give quite a good comparison. And I think this time things were a bit easier. Things were simplified because I like to call it the devolution, because decision making happened at faculty levels. A lot of things could happen at faculty levels through the faculty deans, and anything that could not happen there, maybe it was too big that it had to go to the Senate. So for us, I think it gave us an easy time compared to the other time where you find like CHSS had so many campuses. It had the main campus, it had Faculty of Law, it had Faculty of Business, Mombasa, Kisumu, and making those decisions meant that you had to address them with the principal, who is not based in your campus and who's not easily available to you. And therefore you had to wait for other people to also be comfortable and maybe, just it involved a lot of consultation, which to me, looking back right now, they were meaningless. So I think this time, it was simpler. It also gave the council a bit of an easy time, because our governors could address issues at the faculty levels, and anything that they couldn't do, then we knew it was bigger than the faculty. Yes.
Thank you, Melvin. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I believe I agree with what she has said, because, for example, from the faculty that I come from, we were a college with 2 faculties. So after restructuring, at least now we can have student leadership at the faculty level and the faculty leadership at the management level, such that who is at the top at the faculty is one of you, is someone who is related to the courses in that faculty, unlike the college where you would have many faculties. So in terms of providing solution, it's been easier, and addressing issue has been a bit faster, as in there is reduced bureaucracy. I would say it's been better. Yeah.
I appreciate those responses, but now looking into the more interpersonal relationship between council and faculty government, how have the two of you worked together, considering the leadership wrangles we've been hearing about? Tell me about that, Melvin. Let's start with you, because quoting you on the leadership lens, you mentioned that you've had a hard time collaborating with the government itself in terms of lack of teamwork. How has that been in making your decisions as a government in whole?
Talking about our relationship, especially with the governors, I wouldn't say that it's been, I think it's been the normal kind of leadership that you would have. And we haven't had much wrangles, like direct wrangles with, let's say I would have maybe with the faculty of Vet Med governor. And this is because as the leader, as the president of the council, I understood my place and I understood their places. The only problem we had was when they combine heads and then they start, I think there's a problem, there's strength in grouping, but there's also a problem in grouping. Because when you speak to him, you'd hear him like reasoning or sounding very, very sober. Then when you're in a group, it comes to, I don't know whether there is incitement, which is always going to be, there are 13. There's always someone who's like, no, this is not the way it should be done. And maybe the group listens to him. But we understood our place as the council, and we said we are not going to interfere. We will facilitate, we will collaborate, but we will not interfere. The only challenge came when they could not unite as a faculty team. And I'm not saying him, I'm just giving an example. That is where we had issues, because it will seem like As the president, of course, I really liked working with the chairpersons because I understood their mandate, I understood their position. But at some point, it would feel like you're siding with him and sidelining the other teams. What they don't know is you would like them to be united to give you an easy time. But I think through it all, we managed because I think what kind of government would we be if we were yes people? Like Melvin said this and they said yes. They said this and I said yes. So we had necessary arguments, I would call them necessary, and we agreed to disagree. Yes.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. After you tell us whether or not you agree with her, and since you are representative for faculty and you're closer to the administration, maybe you could also speak to the relationship you've had with the administration and whether or not you've been able to serve the students independently without them playing a hand in your decision making, which of course is inevitable, but we'd still want you as leaders to say something, mean it, and work on it.
First, on the issue about the council and faculty engagement, it's a challenge that you can't avoid because, as in, it's hard to avoid because we are different governments, we are different teams. Every team vied with a different vision. So, and in terms of running, the council might have different vision that they campaigned on with my faculty. So there are times that we will entangle choosing which vision to follow in matters that we need to work on as a team. So those are the kind of challenges that we have had to decide on whose path we are going to use. And you can guess leaders will argue more because in everyone's capacity, I represent the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. So I have a number of people that I speak on behalf of. So I need my vision or my idea to be considered. Same to her, same to another governor. So that has been the challenge of the entanglements.
Let me mention this, that in those circumstances, that is where now you need a leader to give direction.
And that is you.
Yes, that has been me.
How do you feel you worked on that? How would you rate yourself on being that leader to say, yes, faculty, this wants that, and Musia wants this, but as a leader, I need to go for what is best?
Without being overconfident, I think I would give myself a 7.
All right. All right. Now back to you, Musia.
On issue about solving, we are closer to the students, the same way we are closer to the faculty administration. As in my faculty, some of the things that we needed to do, the faculty has facilitated us. In other things, we have differed. So I can give the relationship between the faculty and the students a 60 or 55% that we have been able to engage and solve issues that have arose when we have been around.
Okay, thank you for that. I would want us now to get into your time in office. And now that we're getting into the presidential debate, they will be telling us more about their manifestos and some things they wish to do. And I'd just like to know what you have identified that are the needs of which they should be focused on, based on your term in office, of course.
Okay, I think being that the three presidents or presidential candidates have been in Unsa, I think I expect their manifestos, first of all, to be very practical and achievable. And because when you're coming in for the first time, you're coming in with an illusion of leadership. You're coming in thinking that this can happen, but it's never been done, or I can do this. Then you come and meet obstacles, and you think, I don't think this can happen. For them, they've been here, they've walked the journey, so they know what they can do, what they can't do, and they know what they can start. Because it's also it's not just about I have to do this and finish. What can I start so that I can always hand it over and say that we started this and you guys can continue. I think where we are as an association right now, we've been able to garner a number of strategic partnerships with organizations outside the university and even the university itself. And I think that is one thing I would like myself to see continue. And I would also like to see the association thriving in terms of what are we agitating for. When we were coming in, I think there was a lot of pressure and we were struggling to define what exactly are we supposed to do. Am I supposed to build another UN tower and leave it here? Am I supposed to do things, buildings that I can see? Then you come and find that you would want to do that, and it's acceptable, but there are procedures, and there are things, there are obstacles that you can meet along the way. It could be from your side or from the management or from the students, or that is not what the students want. And then you realize that every other year there is something else. It's not the same. There's always an emerging issue. There's always something that you realize, wait, our students need this. We now have the gender desk. I want to see the next president mobilizing and using this gender desk well to the betterment of students. I think mental health issue is something we've been able to put up front, and we're agitating for it, and I hope the next Congress does so. We were trying to put our students at a place where we have a good contact with the corporate world, and I'm hoping to see that continue and even better. I know they can do it, and I know they will do it. So, and just putting, when you come here, you realize that this university is a brand, and you are a brand ambassador. You just can't speak. You just can't say anything you want. You just can't, you can't behave in a certain way, and therefore you have to protect it. And I hope they continue to protect it. Yes.
All right, that's a very well explained answer. And maybe just to add to that, Monsieur, you could tell us about some solutions to carrying on with those projects. You get, for example, in someone's manifesto, they might want to start new things, yet there are a lot of projects you might have started and you want to see being brought into actualization, especially considering the fact that a challenge you all faced was that you claimed that 1 year was simply not enough. So what are those projects that you would like to see being carried out even by the incoming government?
Okay. I think first of all we need to realize that if we want Unsa to be a better organization or a better association, we must have projects that are ongoing. Because if every year we'll be beginning a new project, then we won't get far. Because we'll be failing, as in you can't accomplish much in 1 year. So I believe the leaders who are coming next need to be willing to listen to those who have been before them. We'll be available to share our experiences on what we have done, on what challenges we encountered for them to avoid, and on what basis we have begun that they can soldier on. Because as she has mentioned about partnership, if we don't continue with the partnership that those who are before you have begun, then we'll be failing. So we need to make sure that the partnerships that have been there, we foster them and improve them for the benefit of the students. So there are some of the aspects that we have done in terms of, for example, my faculty was a new faculty. At the faculty level also we need to have partners as well as at the council level. So for my faculty, it was a new faculty. So we needed to create a basis on where we are going to meet corporates and partner with individuals out there. And so we began an approach of we need to be seen out there. So we began a social media platforms in every social media in this online era that we have been vibrant, that every corporate that we are going to approach knows actually there is an Unsa at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. And therefore we can negotiate and they can come on board because they have seen we are available. So if the team that is coming after us is their mandate to make sure that that goes on, because it's for the benefit of those who will come after us. Yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you. So at this moment, I'd like to speak as a student and not as this panel's host. And as a student and as a member of this university, I'd expect transparency among us, right? And in the Constitution, it states that we should have an annual general meeting with the Unsa Council. However, we haven't seen that happening. So how have you ensured that transparency among you and among us, the students?
So first of all, just like you and myself, I would also like to see that happen. Unfortunately, we weren't able to organize it as what you'd expect that you had. There was a gathering, but we had a series of online meetings. This is first of all because this is a large group. If you're talking about the Congress, this is like almost 100 people. This is a large group. If we are to facilitate that for the AGM to happen, then there's a lot that we have to put in place. For example, there's a financial aspect of it. There's the issue of time. And being that none of us takes an academic break, you have to factor in that if you're going to have this, you cannot entirely leave one faculty out because either they were academically committed, or you cannot leave another one out because they're geographically far away from us. So we did this online. It is not the glamorous AGM that you'd expect, that we fought or we agreed on this, but we did. And when it came to issues of budget, for example, the second budget that we were using, and he's a witness that it was proposed and deliberated by the Congress. The council just facilitated, like I said. We just facilitated, we did our part, which is very small and maybe adding what the council is supposed to do, but it was from them. And also, students, even a student leader, you want to bring them to maybe main campus to do something, you still have to facilitate with them with allowances and tea and something like that. So it happened, just not in the conventional way that everybody else would expect. And we thought the university is even doing elections online, classes online. Sasa meeting online ndio tatushinda. We did that. Yeah.
Did you?
Did you ask about an AGM of the Congress and Council, or with the students?
With the students involved, right?
With the students?
Yes.
Okay, I guess the main challenge is logistics
Okay.
for the council level. For the faculty level, I would term it as, you see the way we are in the county governments, of there are information that you need to pass or engage students. You might not necessarily have a forum where you call all the students, but in their different aspects, the way people would go to a chief's baraza and generate ideas. That's how majorly we have run it in the faculty. You can engage a class. From my team, you can delegate to your sports and welfare representative from their class and with their class reps. Whenever they have gathered together, what are the issues that you want us to do? This is the progress so far. These are the issues you brought on board, and this is where we have been able to get them. But the logistics of being able to call all the students for an AGM, it's quite tricky.
Quite tricky.
In simple ones.
And I think I didn't get the point of it was an AGM with the students. So we also tried to propose to have barazas, but seemingly, since the restructuring, we also did a bit of restructuring with the academic calendar, and so time is a bit short. The people who said 1 year is short, yes, they were right, but time is a bit short. When you're coming back in September, everybody wants to have an event. Everybody wants to have a program. And so sometimes even that time, and also it should come from the students, by the way, according to the Constitution, they should raise that issue and then we facilitate. So I think those logistics, but during our farewell retreat, we suggested and we gave recommendations to at least have, instead of so many programs in our budget or in our calendar activity, can we have quality, such that we can have programs that we actually see that they're impacting both the students and the student leaders, so that we don't end up, like right now we're exhausted. But there's a student somewhere who still feels, no, we didn't even hear about you, So we made those recommendations, and we hope if they're implemented, then it can be better. And by the way, it might not happen during our time, but if it happens during maybe in a year or two to come, but it was our initiative, we'll still feel proud.
Okay. And just as we're about to wind up, I'd love to hear that one thing you'd want to be remembered for during your time. Like if someone were to think of Melvin Togo, what would you want them to think of?
That's subjective.
All right.
Yes, it is. And from our end, I think this being the fourth Unsa, we grappled with so much. But one thing that I can assure you that this Unsa did, from the governors, the Congress, the council, is that we had a present leadership. You can afford to hold us accountable because we've been present and you can still see us, and that's why you can say that, but Melvin, this didn't happen or this happened. And I think we have started a culture where you're elected to serve the university. You're not elected to serve your people in Sugoi, not your people in Nakuru County. You're elected to serve the students. And the one thing they'll also remember us for is, if it is partnerships, we actually brought. We've been busy. From the corporate, they told me, sometimes we just want you guys to close school because you guys keep us busy. And I think from my end, I have made sure that every administration sitting, apart from the exams, every sitting, a student representative was there. Yes, so that we don't get shocked when they pass something. Right now, even the level of engagement on formulating the strategic plan for 2024-2028, we are there. 2028, we are there, and we are going to make sure that these issues are articulated. So the student body is part of the university leadership. We are not at the periphery fighting, we are here. Yes.
All right. How about you?
For me, for my faculty being the first Unsa, I want to...
Congratulations on that, baby.
Again, it's subjective on every individual. But for me, I believe that I've laid a solid foundation for the ones who are coming after me. That the partnerships they are going to get is because of the effort we have put from when we got in April, and how we have been fair in administration on activities across the campus. Because we have been fair and transparent and always communicating with the students. So I would just want to be remembered to have laid a solid foundation for those who will come many, many years after us.
Okay, maybe just in 30 seconds, tell us what you see the future of the University of Nairobi being as a result of good leadership that you have contributed to.
I see us being, I know already we are the leading student association, but I see us setting the pace in student bodies. I see Unsa in 2, 3, 5 years having tangible accomplishments, things that you can trace back and say that during 2025, 2026, they achieved this. And I think where we are right now, we are also trying to redefine it, to tell people that just because we are smiling, or you'll see Melvin and the Vice Chancellor in one panel, does not mean that there's no work being done. And for us, we are maintaining our ground. And I think if we've started soberly, then it can only get better as it goes. I cannot imagine they're going to be very remarkable achievements, and I can only see a brighter future for the association. Yes.
My vision, or what I would like to see Unsa in the next maybe 5 years, is an Unsa which can generate revenue apart from this being allocated by the school, from partners, grants, or donations, such that the achievements that would be done in the few years to come, such that you can find Unsa funding students' scholarships, or even building the tower she was mentioning, an hostel, because they have been able to generate revenue aside from the school, from partnerships and or other ways, and being accountable to the students. If I see that, I will be so glad.
Before we forget, an Unsa that also defines world-class university.
Period.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you, Governor Musia. That was it for us. For the first session, we had the outgoing government, and right now we're getting into our presidential debate, after which we'll talk to a couple of students who are present in the audience. Thank you very much.
You cannot vote in the right leaders if you don't know why and who you're voting for. We sit down with all the 3 presidential candidates for this year's University of Nairobi Students Association Unsa Council elections. We scrutinize their manifestos and give them a platform to tell you, the student, what they have in store for you. Make sure to tune in at UNC TV from 3 p.m. to stream the debate live and engage and ask questions. Knowledge is power, but you cannot vote in the right leaders if you don't know why and who you're voting for.
Is the University of Nairobi indeed a center of scholarly excellence? This is the Presidential Debate 2023 of the University of Nairobi Students Association. Now, the University of Nairobi is not just a center of excellence for academia and learning, but also many other aspects or segments of society. If our current leadership in Kenya is anything to go by, then indeed this university produces the crop of leadership or leaders that are able to govern this country. And so this is why student representation is so important to the University of Nairobi. Now, on the 27th of March 2023, the Independent Electoral Commission set us on a journey that leads to the selection of the students who will govern the University of Nairobi for 1 year. And so we have seen the university go through a process for the last 1 month of registration, various students expressing their interest, and then we went into nominations where various students seconded the interests of the candidates who had expressed interests. These candidates have been vetted, and with just 2 days to the election, we now have the last group of students who will be able to battle it out on the 24th of March 2023. Franklin Roosevelt says that democracy can only succeed when those who are choosing are able to choose wisely. And so education of the electorate is indeed critical for democracy and the democratic process. It is for this reason that we have put together this debate so that those who are vying for the highest positions in the university as far as student representation is concerned are able to let the voters know what it is they intend to deliver to us once they are given opportunities and office. And so with that, allow me to introduce to you our candidates for the University of Nairobi Students Association chairperson position.
This is Ngetich Michael Tsoi, a candidate in the upcoming presidential elections, University of Nairobi Students Association. I stand by the need to inspire and motivate the Kenyan community and the institution at large to do the things that they love diligently with faith and hope in order to achieve what they want in life. In the upcoming Unsa elections, I stand by 3 key things. Number 1 is fostering collaborations between the University of Nairobi Students Association and the university. How can this be done? By bringing both leaders from the university and the Students Association on the table and discussing how we can work together to ensure the student, who is the common benefactor, gets what they come for in this university. Number 2 is striking strategic partnerships between the corporate world and the government of Kenya to ensure that people have a smooth transition from the university to the outside world. And number 3, having mutual respect for each and every student leader who is elected in these upcoming elections, and all the students in the university having a listening ear to them in everything that they have to pitch to us. In this election, we stand by revitalization of Comrade's agenda. This is Ngetich Michael Tsoi, the Equalizer. This is Ngetich Michael Tsoi, a candidate in the upcoming presidential elections, University of Nairobi Students Association. I stand by the need to inspire and motivate the Kenyan community and the institution at large to do the things that they love diligently with faith and hope in order to achieve what they want in life. In the upcoming Unsa elections, I stand by 3 key things. Number 1 is fostering collaborations between the University of Nairobi Students Association and the university. How can this be done? By bringing both leaders from the university and the Students Association on the table and discussing how we can work together to ensure the student, who is the common benefactor, gets what they come for in this university. Number 2 is striking strategic partnerships between the corporate world and the government of Kenya to ensure that people have a smooth transition from the university to the outside world. And number 3, having mutual respect for each and every student leader who is elected in these upcoming elections, and all the students in the university having a listening ear to them in everything that they have to pitch to us. In this election, we stand by revitalization of Comrades' agenda. This is Ngetish Michael Soy, the Equalizer.
They stand for as far as this election is concerned. We will begin with Malith.
My name is Malith Monica, also known as Ambassador Malith. Currently, I'm popular by that name, Ambassador Malith, or others prefer to call me Melanin. I'm from the Faculty of Law, a third-year law student, that is, and the outgoing Unsa International Students Representative. And I stand by the guiding principles of integrity, inclusion, and innovation. And in that, I stand to bring in students together to work as one unit for the better of the UN we want. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Malith. We'll proceed to Gonda.
My name is Gonda Mohamed Salim, popularly known as Diaby Gonda. I'm a 5th-year medical student and an outgoing governor, Faculty of Health Sciences. My team, as Team Gonda, our mission is to ensure that the University of Nairobi is the world-class university that it really deserves. And also, top of our agenda is our Comrades agenda, whereby our biggest mission and drive to the Comrades is that Comrades deserve better. That is our punchline as Team Gonda. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Now we will get right into our discussion for the day, but first, a bit of ground rules. We'll be giving you all 2 minutes to respond to questions directed to you, and also 30 seconds in case you'd like to respond to what a different candidate has said, or rather give your rebuttals. Later on, we will also receive questions from our viewers, and the same rules will apply. Now, first of all, congratulations for making it this far in the electoral process. My first question would be, how has that journey been, considering the fact that you bid to the delegates who are going to be elected for your positions? So how is the process of nomination and the campaign period like for you guys as presidential candidates? And so we'll start with Team Gonda, and then Malith, and then Team Soy.
I think comrades normally say at the University of Nairobi, it's even hard passing the nomination than even campaigning for your election. So I feel like even making to the nomination, it's quite something, and it's been a very hard process, because even having a team, you don't only need representation for position, but you really need people who can deliver and leadership. As Team Gonda, we had been having a rough time, not only in going to the nomination, but creating a team. Because as we know, under the protocols and the guidance of providing a team, you really need a team that is strong, a team that has records, a team that has proven itself. So from my team, actually, I have people or students who've really worked hard for positions, and whereby in each position they have been given, they have thrived. For example, I have my vice chair, Asifa Kinoti. She's an engineering student, and even from the Faculty of Engineering, she has served and she has that experience. So for me, I feel like taking to the nomination is not quite an easy task, because we can see even before people were nominated to become aspirants, we had almost 17 teams. Then it came back to 7, 8. Then here we are. So I feel like the nomination process actually is something. For me, until here, I thank God so far, because I have a team that I really believe in, and a team I really believe that it can provide to combat. Thank you.
All right.
To respond to the same question, it was a challenging to me even to make a decision to vie as the Unsa chairperson, because it considers, it has to take a lot, you have to take a lot into consideration before even you come up and say, I'll come out as a leader. From the onset, that was in December when I decided that I would be vying for Unsa, and it was so hard for me to convince myself, because I approached a few of my friends and I was talking to them. But the bigger thing that came out was the fact that I'm from a different nationality. But there is the issue of UN being a world class. And that is one thing that made me step up and say I'm going to vie. The hardest thing I got again was getting team members. And I had to travel around the campuses, all the 13 campuses to Mombasa, Kisumu, and other even faculties within Nairobi. And like last year, I took part in the same elections, and the biggest problem was poaching of team members from your own team. So the first thing I wanted to build was a team that trusted that we are going to make it for a win. And I trust that I got the best team members because all of them, I had no backup, like it has always been in the previous Unsa, whereby you have to have more than 2 team members. So we had a great team. They stood with me until the last day. And I always say that my opponent are not the students standing, the opponent is the Constitution, because the Constitution will just make me drop my bid without even moving forward. So every day when I wake up, I go through the Constitution, the Unsa Constitution. What if I do, I will not be in the ballot? And that was my major challenge. To the delegates, I've been bonding with them because I know what my president did last year, and I can say that she really made me stand here today. So I took up what she has been doing in the previous government, and I say that the way she formed her team is the way I'll form my team. So it is not so hard talking to the delegates because I know what she did and what made us to be in the office last time. So I'm bonding with the delegates, and wherever they are, I know they'll bring me to this seat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. My name is Ngetich Michael Soy. I think where I start is the journey to getting to standing here today in the presidential debate started way back when I joined this university and even before, because I could watch the student leaders, the presidents of University of Nairobi, and tell myself, this is where I want to be. When I got elected to become the governor of Faculty of Engineering, the journey began and continued rolling towards the presidency. Forming a team and coming to this point, I can't say it has been challenging as much because I read the Constitution, knew the requirements which are needed, and abided by them. So I believe as we'll be also getting along to the voting, I am confident that I am the one who the university deserves to take University of Nairobi Students Association to the next level. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, and that is a good way to begin it. At this point, allow us to play your manifestos as well, and then we will proceed.
My name is Monica Malith, well known as Ambassador Malith, or others prefer me as Melanin. I'm a third-year law student at the Faculty of Law, Parklands campus, and the outgoing Unsa International Student Representative in the 2022-2023 Council, and an aspiring for Unsa Chairperson 2023-2024. My mission is to bring in a value-based leadership that is based on the principle of integrity, inclusion, and innovation. My 3 agendas are to bring in more activities that will bring students together. My second agenda is to bring equality and equity in allocation of funds, such as bursaries to students who are needy but bright. And my third agenda is to bring a one-unit leadership whereby the council and the faculties are involved and work on solving the student issues. And I will leave you with this, that we are the UON, and we have to be practicing our values rather than preaching them. Thank you. Melanie.
Yours as well, Gonda. But while we are still in the mood of introduction for us, I would want all of you to briefly tell us who is on your team and why are they best suited to serve in that position. Justify. We will begin with Gonda because we will finish with you.
Okay, thank you. So in my team members, because I start with the president, so I'm Gonda. In my team as representing the Faculty of Health Sciences, because I need a reason why I stand out as the president of my team. Number one, I think my leadership journey at the Faculty of Sciences begins with our professional body, called AMSUN. Back in 2017, when I was in first year, I was able to take my team when I was the captain to the finals, and it was a miracle to say, because as a first year, even winning a league to the sixth year, it was something. So personally, I think that thing by that time, it really made me stand out, because as much as I'm a leader, I'm also a footballer and also play for the school team. So back in AMSUN, second year again, as a captain, we won the AMSUN league with my class team. So by then, the seniors decided that Gonda, then you have to go for the sports representative. I served in a professional body called AMSUN, the Association of Medical Students of the University of Nairobi, as a sports secretary. And to date, I'm proud enough to say that at the faculty level of health sciences, I bet that the University of Nairobi is only the faculty of health science that is very vibrant in terms of sports, because of the legacy that I left there. That is why they were even able, my people, the medics, to give me a second term to serve. When I came back in fourth year, I was not interested in Unsa leadership. My people asked me to go for the AMSUN chair. But my seniors approached me and they wanted me to serve them in the Unsa leadership. That's when, thank God that last year I became the unopposed governor at the Faculty of Health Sciences. Why unopposed? If there was something that I did wrong as a leader, these people of mine, they were not to be in a position even to give me that power to serve them. So I really thank my faculty heads and also my medics. So that is Gonda as a team leader. So that is where my journey comes from. And you can ask even from the previous Unsa leadership, I really tried my level best to serve my people. As a president, that's why my people say that, Gonda, you are ready to serve us.
Okay.
My vice chair is Sifa Kinoti. She's from the Faculty of Engineering. This lady, she brings experience. She's been in ESA. I know majority of engineering students can attest. And the responsibility that she was given and the mandate, I feel like even any University of Nairobi engineering students can tell the Sifa that Sifa has got. Another member from my team members, we have Super SG Ochola. This guy we served in the previous Congress. He has the experience. He served as Secretary General at the Faculty of Agriculture. That's why in this incoming Unsa, hopefully, we need people who have this experience, so that whatever we missed from Melvin's reign, we can try to add on it. Another person from my government, we have Sheila. She's from Kikuyu. She's our treasurer. No one can bestow someone the position of treasury unless it's someone you can really trust. Sheila has served in the clubs in Kikuyu campus. There's the association. So that's why we knew that with the money, we need someone you can trust and someone who has got experience. From my team members, my sports secretary, Miss Miriam. So Miriam, we have been together because I'm a footballer and I've been in football. So most of the time we met when we were doing our sporting activity at main campus. So Miriam is from Chiromo. Apart from her duties as a sports representative, she also brings another thing on the table, because right now she is serving as the academic secretary in Chiromo campus. So I think in Miriam we have both qualities of a sports representative and as a leader. Another person in my team, we have a special need representative. He is called Abdimajid Alio. He also served from the previous government. He's from faculty, Lower Kabete, Faculty of Business Studies. So I think from my team, we have that experience that we got from the previous council. So for Abdimajid Alio, ask any special need guy who doesn't know Abdimajid Alio, because Abdimajid Alio, he has been this guy who has been really fighting for inclusion, especially for people with disabilities. So with Abdimajid in my team, I think I'm very confident enough. The last person in my team is Madam Lubna, our ambassador. Madam Lubna, apart from me integrating her into the team, she was this lady who was really supportive from my previous government. She served with my former ambassador, that is Madam Shannon from the previous government. So even from the delegates and from the comrades, I think we have this team, and we can say that individually we are one drop, but together we become an ocean. Therefore, with this team, we came together to make sure that the drop and drop we have from every member of us, we give you an ocean, whereby the experience and the leadership we have, I think we can be able to go on with our bottom line, that is, comrades deserve better. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Gonda. And it is our hope that indeed we will be able to get better given the team that you have shared with us. We are also hopeful that the various students know these people so that when the time comes, then we are able to hold them accountable. At this juncture, allow me to show us the clip where we see a bit more about your manifesto, and then we can proceed to the other candidates.
My name is Gonda Mohamed Salim, popularly known as Diaby Gonda. I'm a fifth-year medical student at the Faculty of Health Sciences and the outgoing governor, Faculty of Health Sciences. Our mission is to make sure that the University of Nairobi is the world-class university that it really deserves. We have our 3-point agenda. Agenda number 1 is to the Congress. To the Congress, we'll ensure that we offer integrity and transparency. To the comrades, we'll ensure that we dwell in your academia, we dwell in Comrades Kuinama, health issues, and sports and the well-being. For the last part, we'll ensure that we collaborate with the other university to make sure that all our students across the country are served better. Our parting shot, comrades deserve better. This is Team Gonda. Thank you, and may God bless you.
All right, now we proceed to the second candidate, Malith, and you will tell us who is on your team and how are they best suited to serve in those positions, given the chance.
Thank you so much. To start with myself as the team face, I have served in different leadership forums, back from my high school, primary, and back from my primary school, high school, and here. And as the outgoing Unsa international student representative, I have had a bigger opportunity to interact even with the school management, and I have known how best I can work with them and which office is appropriate for some of our issues. And then the next person is Alex Muturi from the Faculty of Business Management Science. He best suits here because he has been actively involved with the students. He has been working with them on issues to do with class missing marks, and he has not had a chance to serve in this Unsa or at the university, but he had other opportunities in wherever he was in high school as being the head boy. And then we come to Castro. Castro is from medical school, and he was the vice chairperson that is in AMSUN, and then the student advocate for missing marks in exam. And I think there was a huge issue with the examination that Castro came in so strongly, and he helped students. And then at the same time, he's a scientific conference custodian, and he has been working with the school to ensure that all the students needs of students are well catered for. And then we have Grace Kamau. She's from Faculty of Engineering, and she's an innovator, and she represents the school outside to the point that she went to South Africa on matters pertaining innovation. And then she is the one who organized the UN Nairobi Innovation Week. She was part and parcel of that team. And then the next person in my team is the sports and welfare representative, that is Inyura, and is the sports captain. We have the international representative, that is Martin Kasuku from Congo. He has been, in his country, been a leader and a class rep. And then we have the last one, who is the PWD from law school, and he has been actively involved in registering the PWDs with the right office.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We'll proceed to Soy.
Dream, and now here we are. Having started as a class representative, geospatial engineering year 1, as a legal affairs secretary and the governor faculty of engineering, a good set of experience to lead the university now. Then going on, my vice chair is Patricia Wanja. She served as a sports and social welfare main campus in the outgoing Unsa. Next is Josiah Ndeka from Kikuyu campus, my secretary general. He vied last year for the governorship, but never succeeded, giving an opportunity to people who have vision to lead the university in during this time. Next, we have Kennedy, who is the sports and social welfare representative, an active basketball player at Kenya Science Campus. Then we have Ojuka from Faculty of Built Environment and Design, who served in the previous government as a PWD rep. And finally, we have Kiden Moro from Faculty of Engineering, international student from South Sudan. My team composition is composed of people who have served previously and a few who are new. To run the council, you need people who know what has been happening and what should be done. Having a few who have been there and others who are going to mentor them makes the work simpler for the council in providing direction to University of Nairobi Students Association. Thank you.
All right, very well done. Thank you for that. And now that we know those who are on your teams, we'll head right to the first question. And first we ask, you guys are not new to the face of Unsa. You have all served as either in the faculties or in the council. And so our question is, what gives the electorate confidence to vote for you a second time now in this highest position? We can start with you, Malith.
Thank you so much. I can say that the electors as the right leader won because I cooperate a lot. And my chair can attest to that, the outgoing UNSA president, that is Melvin. And with my docket, I can talk of it more because I was much more involved with it.
Yes, please.
If you can see the involvement of international students, even to where I stand, to come and say that I'm vying for UNSA, it has meant a lot of interaction with the school, the students, and even to the school administration. And this year, the just term that is concluding, we have managed to bring more international students to being active even in the school events. Unlike before, when you will just call an international student and tell them that we have an event in the school, they will not turn up. And it was witnessed in our successful International Students' Day, where even the VC took part, and he became a dancer on that day. So I can say I have achieved so much with that because it brought us together, and the world class that is in us as the university was seen. The second part is that previously we did not apply for international, the student pass, sorry. The student pass, most of us were ignorant about it, but this year I was able to talk to them. I formed groups, and in those groups we work as one. So we just communicate to them that our office, the right office to approach, is on 17th floor, or you can go to any other office if you have any issue. And this year, at the same time, we have had majority of international students being accommodated in the school, because you understand that we have three categories of international students. One, the first world countries, the ones in Africa, and the refugee comes in as a more like they come in as more of needy students coming up from very hostile backgrounds, and the school has really helped them even in registering for courses before even they pay, because they have organizations that pay for them. So this year I was able to bring it into, in my time I was able to bring it into the school attention that indeed, the school fees will be paid, but on a later date, so they were allowed to do their own course registration to attend other forums. Thank you.
Yes, you can question, or you can pose a question in 30 seconds.
Yes. So coming to the matter of cooperation between the chair and the international student representative, there were some grudges whereby, in fact, she failed to take a flight with the team to Mombasa. So I wonder the cooperation she's talking about. Number two is the international student who is in my team now hasn't been able to get the student pass processed. She doesn't know about the whole issue about how it's done. So what can she quantify to say that she has assisted people in the capacity she served as an international student representative?
All right, that's it. She will respond to that. We will give you the opportunity to, but now we can proceed to you, Governor Soy.
Okay, so I've served before as a legal affairs secretary for ESA, and during my tenure, I initiated the formation of Engineers Without Borders University of Nairobi chapter, have done collaborations with Harvard and MIT, and we're finalizing the bits to have the documentations with the university. And serving again as the governor, I have been able to have a good linkage and forming a bridge between the students and the university administration to ensure that the issues of missing marks, accommodation of our students, and issuance of bursaries to exactly needy students in the university have been able to be done. Then this is a call that have been given by most of the outgoing members who we've been serving together, who had a chance to vie for the presidency. They told me it's a high time that University of Nairobi gets a leader who is like Soy. And why look for somebody who is like Soy when we still have Soy? Thank you.
All right. Gonda.
Personally, if you could have asked me a year ago, I could never even thought of vying as the president of this university. Actually, it's a milestone for me because I think I'm the first ever medical student even to aspire becoming the president of the University of Nairobi. Why did I think of coming back again? 3, 4 months, 5 months ago, some of my team members, I can attest that some of my presidential aspirants who are here, they even approached me and told me, like, Gonda, we've seen that how this council this year have worked. So I feel like this year, Gonda, as presidency, we need someone who can take where Melvin started so that we go a top notch higher. So it was something that it was a big thing for me because I didn't even think of becoming the University of Nairobi president. My dream was to become the AMSON chair, but here now it was people who have served with, and they're telling me that, Gonda, you can do this. Why people think that I can do this? Because from my faculty, I think we had the Congress, the people who served at faculty heads. You can attest. Maybe you can ask in anyone who served last year. We tried our best at our faculty to serve people better, and by being better, it doesn't mean that I did a lot. But what I did to my team is that I brought integrity, accountability, and transparency. Never even a single day when some of the faculties had quarrels among themselves in Faculty of Health Sciences, we never had that. So I feel like it's high time that such principles like integrity, transparency, and accountability needs to be taken at council level. Because for the comrades to be served better, we need a proper and a better council. Because it's not all about the council, it's about the faculty. So if the council is better, then we'll have a better faculty. That's why I have a push from, I think I can say that all the governors I've served with, I have their support, and also all the Congress people, because I'm someone whom from the previous government, I think I've made more friends than enemies. That's why from their support and the support of my friends and the medical school, they say that, Gonda, this time round, we need to see how can a medic become a president and how can we see his president. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll reserve the question. We will get a chance to ask it again. But while we are still speaking about manifestos and the abilities that you believe you have for this role, I would want to ask, one of the challenges that has come up from the previous leadership is the fact that 1 year is a short time, and some of the projects that are begun are not able to be fulfilled within that 1 year. So the question is, to you guys who have served in that leadership and are now seeking a second term, how come your manifestos do not have projects that were begun and you intend to carry forward? And if there are, then kindly share those with us. Let us now begin with you, Gonda.
Okay, so from I think the reason why our agendas are not agending, because as Gonda, I may want certain things to be done in a certain way. So at some point, I may be my top agenda may be under academia. Someone else, his top agenda will be under Comrades Kuinama or accommodation. So I feel like as much as we have this yearly period of serving, but at the end of the day also, why there's a big gap during transition. Because from the previous government, I've been here since 2017. That's how I've been. So I've seen governments keep on coming and going. So personally, I can attest that at least from the previous government, at least there was a change compared to the previous one before Melvin. So we feel that everyone that comes in that position, he or she has his or her own agenda. So as Gonda, my top agenda for the comrades is academia, because we feel like as much as people are coming at the university and going out, university is not somewhere whereby you come and go. You just need to have an impact, and also not only an impact to yourself. And personally, I feel like as a leader, I need to leave a legacy. Apart from leaving a legacy, there's this notion that what are you giving to the university? Okay. Not only looking at what is the university giving to you.
But Gonda, of the priorities that were there in the last government that you served with, are there any that you are carrying forward or not?
yeah, there are some I can say can carry forward.
For instance?
For example, especially in matters of, I say the Unsa budget, for example, that is under faculty heads. At first, as a faculty head, we had some issues of Unsa budget, but I also thank also the previous government, because this year around, I think our leaders also fought so that comrades have also the budget reaches to comrades, because at some point you felt like the previous government, the allocation, even for an event, it was like 30,000-40,000. But under the previous government, they really fought to make sure that at least for an event, you have 80 to 120,000 for an event. So just imagine for a 20,000 shillings, which event can you do? So previously, from the previous government, what I can take is that to make sure that at least the budget allocation for the comrades for each event, it also
increases.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Malith, are there any that you are continuing with?
Yes, thank you. I'll start by saying that we are an institution that has guidelines and rules on how to carry out the activities that and the agendas we have as student leaders. And when I was sitting down, I tried to go through the five points the VC emphasized on. That was on 28th of August 2020. He talked of 5 agendas that will help him or will help the school achieve its running or the running of the activities, which were the people. You have to consider the people at the University of Nairobi. There is the data science, there is the governance, and then the curricula and finances. All of these then are part and parcel of our working foundation. And if you see in the previous UNSA, we had a number of things that we worked on. And if you were to be given a full presentation without interruption, you will see that these are just a continuation of what we have been doing as the previous UNSA, because we can't say that we are coming up with totally new things, because we have guidelines and agendas to achieve at a time. Yeah.
Of those things, is there a particular project you'd like to highlight which you will carry forward from Melvin's regime?
Yes, like the bursaries by the UNSA. What I would love to revise on the bursaries is the amount and the timely allocation of bursaries. Because in the previous allocation of bursaries, we had a scenario that some students were allocated the bursaries, yet they didn't know the amount of money that they are going to be given. And again, you get a student who is so needy but bright, as they say even in the letters we are sent, needy but bright students. There was one with a fee balance of 26,000. And then she was given only 7,000. And then the time that it came in, she already started her exams and she was struggling. So what I would love to continue with is the bursaries and timely allocation and an increase in the bursaries, in the amount of bursaries. And then I'm coming up with what is called Malith Fund, Malith Care Fund.
Allow me to keep that for later, because we will get into that. But Soy, are there any projects that were done previously or you began that you would want to continue?
Before we get to that, the projects that I began during that time, it's important to note that University of Nairobi Students Association falls under the university, and it has a way in which it runs its activities. Under the things that I would like to continue as I get to the presidency, University of Nairobi Students Association cannot work on its own. It has to work in close cooperation and discussions with the university administration, since most of the things are anchored to the university. So I would like to see more of discussions between the leaders in the association and the university to see how can we all impact the life of the students therein. That is the most important thing, because without a good working relationship, I can assure you that there will be nothing which we'll be doing as an association.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Soy. And it is our hope that as you begin new things this year, that we create frameworks and systems where all projects are able to be continued, so that we are able to see the fruits of the work you are doing in the long run. Now, before we shift gears a little bit, I'll allow Malith to respond to the question that was posed, and then pose the question that she had in the next 1 minute.
Thank you. Like they say, we have to accept the fact that we will live with conflicts, but the best thing we can do is how to solve them. And I think if you notice very well, I was in that meeting in the long run. So it means we can disagree, but as a working body, we must have disagreement, but the best thing or the most important thing is how we solve them. So I know that you noticed we solved the issue, and we came back as one body, as Unsa.
Okay. Sorry, allow me to not allow you to respond. Let her finish first.
On the second question, that I said a majority of international students. I didn't say all, and we are still, it is a work in progress. And we have few of us that have not had their pass, it is a work in progress. Yes, we will have said that because UON this year has had a graduation, we stop there, that there are no students to come back and learn. And we have more students coming in, and the issue of online classes have made us not reach a majority of international students. So, sir, we are still in the progress.
Okay.
Thank you.
You had a question?
Yes, I had a question. When I started vying, to all my opponents here and my friends, the biggest challenge with them not working with me was questioning my nationality and my race. I think the first person I approached, I will ask this question to all of them was, can you work with me? Can we have a team? But the best thing they could offer me was that you can work under us and not you, and not us under you. And the question was, why? They said, we will not vote, people will not vote for you because you're a foreigner. Okay. That's what has been going on. And my question is to them, he's a coastal man and he's a Kalenjin. How will you serve the rest of the students who are not Kalenjin? And to you, sir, how will you serve those students who are not coastal? Thank you. And again, to say, UN is a world-class university that really embraces the diversity and inclusion. When they were arguing to me, where were they placing our great university?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question, and we will give you both an opportunity to respond. And just as a reminder, when we converse through the moderator.
Oh,
and then,
sorry for that.
Then the other person is given a chance to respond to the questions. Now, to shift gears a little bit, we had talked about how your journeys have been through the entire process of being vetted, passed, nominated, and now we are here. However, like the situation is nationally, young people have been seen to be very apathetic towards voting. Sadly, the trend is the same here at the University of Nairobi. Our research shows us that less than 50% of students have taken part in the process so far. That is the signatures and now the mock voting that was held 2 days ago. You, as aspiring chairpersons of the University of Nairobi Student Association, are a unifying factor for the university and the students. I would want to know how it is that you intend to bring students together and encourage them to take part more in this process. We'll start with you, Soy.
Bringing of students together to join part in this process, we have to ask ourselves, why haven't they been so much involved in these activities? Reason number one can be attributed to the non-vibrancy of the previous associations, the leaders during those times. And I would like to appreciate the president of the current government that is exiting, because she's tried her best to ensure she empowers the governors to ensure it trickles down to everything. So if you compare your statistics, I hope you would have heard from 2017 when the Unsa Constitution was launched and everything started running, so that we can compare and contrast to know the difference. How are we going to ensure that this continues, the numbers do increase? Some of the students perhaps do not want to engage in the activities because they find some other things more important. Others would like to be motivated to engage in these, but with the increasing trends from 2017, it shows us that we are in the right trajectory. And increasing the number of activities that happens at the faculty levels, and also the council working in partnership with the faculty association will ensure those numbers increase, and that each students know why they are part of this association, not because they are merely students of University of Nairobi, but by the fact that they should be part of it. Thank you.
Okay. Malith?
Thank you so much. And like you've just given a narrative of how these Unsa elections is taking place, the student life is felt when we are all together. And when we increase the chances of us being together, we'll have things like mental health because of the involvement that we will have. So if we are together, then as the university or as all the student bodies, we have issues that will not be affecting us at our personal level. Like me talking to Soy from engineering brings exchange of ideas even from our different faculties. So we will much more focus on bringing them together for a better university, for a more active student life in the university. Thank you.
Okay, finally.
For me, I think bottom line is sensitization, because at the end of the day, you need to know something until you've heard of or you've been given knowledge upon of the same thing. So I feel like we need more sensitization, people to know about Unsa. And as much as there is election is a process. So people take election as an event, because after that, maybe at your faculty head, even some people never know whom they elected as their faculty head or as a governor. So I feel like it's upon also us as student leaders. If we make Unsa more vibrant, even people will be looking ahead and looking forward to when will be the next Unsa elections, because they've seen what we've done. Like I can attest, even from our faculty, I'm a fifth-year medical student, but up to now, I was receiving some messages. There's Team Gonda, and there's another team at the faculty. So who are we voting for? So even at fifth year, someone who has been in school for 5 years doesn't know the difference between council elections and the faculty election. So I feel like we need those meetings and sensitization. And this also will come when as a council, at council level, whereby some of these events, we make sure that we spread them to even other faculties. Like in many campuses, I feel like people have this notion that like they know what is Unsa and they have the knowledge about Unsa. But most of these like satellite campus, last time I was in Kisumu, even in Kisumu there were no students there. Like it was like, I don't know what I can say, but such satellite campuses, and also within Nairobi, these campuses, they really also need to know about Unsa, because most of our events, normally they are at main campus. You find that most of the events are in Taifa Hall. So as Gonda and my team will make sure that even some of these events will even take them to other campuses, so that people get to know Unsa and to know about what Unsa is all about. Thank you.
Thank you for that. It is our hope that moving forward, we will be able to have more participation by the students, especially in the electoral process. Now, all of you have mentioned issues of togetherness. And while we are still at that point, I would want us to go back to the question that Malith posed to both of you. And so I'll ask Soy to go first, and then we will have Gonda as well respond to it.
If Malith could have been honest with us in this discussion, she would have started by saying that we started this discussion on can we work together. And number two, we also discussed this discussion with Gonda. Can we all form a team to ensure that the agenda of the comrades are really propagated well? Because it's not all about us, but service to these comrades. And I told most of the ardent supporters of Malith that even if students from China would be studying in University of Nairobi, they have a right, because it is provided by the Constitution for them to vie. I was very willing to form a team with them, and we had negotiations on the table. Only that they decided to become crafty and seem to say that So isn't a strong candidate for this, let us lock him out. And in this, we would like to make it very clear, because she is in the ballot. Why is she crying foul about that, yet she is in the ballot itself? If that would have been used to disqualify you, it could be an issue of discussion here. Are you trying to seek sympathy votes out of the delegates?
All right. Now, he then asked that, was he a weak candidate? And so it seems the discussion left him and came to you, Gonda. So why was that your response?
I start with Malith or Soy's end? Malith, okay. So personally, I can say that both of these aspirants here are my very good friends. Until when we were cleared to be in the nomination is when I don't think we are that close. Malith is my very close friend since the start of this year. Because if I'm someone who's really discriminative, I wouldn't have Malith as my friend since then. Because Malith, he has been even to my faculty more than 4 or 5 times. That is how close we are. I've been in Malith in Faculty of Law. So it's when it's the election period when people start these agendas and ideas to seek sympathy votes. I can say that is something that is seeking sympathy.
But her argument is that you're friends until she can join your team. That is where you draw the line. And so it's a question of how does her nationality influence how much value she's able to bring to your team? What was your response to her offer?
My response was, as an international student representative, Malith, what did you achieve? So I think even you can attest from the international students. We had an international day for university students. I think with her incompetence, she was not even able to be on board with other students to steer in that project. So for me, that was the question. Then after that, funny enough, I think even the commission could attest that there were some people who were sent to say that I said these things. So it's a statement that even for me, I was asked to present before the commission. So personally, if I am someone that is really discriminative, I feel like from day one, I couldn't even choose Malith as my friend. Thank you.
Okay. We will allow you another time, but for now, that is their response on why that did not happen. But all in all, we are glad we have 3 teams now, and we are hopeful that the best leader will take it. While we are talking about issues, I would want to shift our attention to issues that have been raised by the students. Issues such as the virtual learning that has been continuing since 2020. There are also issues of the state of affairs in the accommodation, and also the delayed help disbursement and things like that. Those are some of the things that students are crying for about. However, the government that is leaving, that you have been part of, has been keen to also express that some of these things are beyond them in terms of their scope of leadership to be able to solve. And so my question to you is, as the people who seek to be the representatives of students, do you believe that students should continue to deal with these issues? Do you feel there's something you can do about them within the capacity of chair? We'll start with you, Malith.
With the issue of online learning, I've been thinking about it, and it has been brought to my attention by most of the students from different faculties. And this, I will say, there are some faculties that the university should bring in more, should bring in physical classes, because they will remain as buildings. For example, the satellite campuses that we have, like Mombasa and Kisumu, when we tend to be more online, the school just becomes a building. So that is a conversation we'll have to initiate with the school administration. In as much as we are moving digital, we can be having physical classes more on satellite campuses. And then to the online classes, and if we insist to be digital, to go digital, we can be having on-campus online learning, whereby students are on campus, but they are online. Just because some of the areas that our students come from are not covered, like the internet doesn't cover, and the telecoms lines that have been given out, they don't pick in all areas. So in as much as we are tending to be digital, we should bring our students on campus and then increase the, the connectivity, that is the Wi-Fi, to bring more students in school. Yes.
And as you have mentioned, what you have shared with us is the same position that the government that is just leaving held as well, in terms of being able to blend it and make it hybrid and things like that. But students have continued to complain about that situation. And so our question is, do you think the chairperson or the president is able to do something about it? And if they are, what is it that they're able to do about it?
Like we said, we're working as an institution, both the administration and the student leaders included. We will sit down and have a conversation around it and present the challenges that the students are facing with the same online learning. So I wouldn't say that the best thing I can do is approach the administration, have a conversation with them, and say that these are the challenges we have as the students, and this is why we want physical classes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Gonda?
So for virtual learning, personally, I can say from Faculty of Health Sciences, we have a challenge. From even my classmates, there are some people who are really enjoying this e-learning, and there are some others who are against this thing. So at some point, even we had a sitting with the top management of administration and Faculty of Health Sciences. We needed this choice to move to physical learning. But the issue is everyone ready for it? Because as a leader, you present the majority. So are we going to go for the majority, or are we going to go with the minority? Because it's a discussion whereby some of my classmates, even we had this discussion, we started this discussion, like medicine, you can't do this thing in e-learning. Practical is okay, we can go to the wards, you can go to the hospital, you can go to the labs practically. But some of these classes, because you can say that as a medical student, how is it okay for you even to take your class while you are at the bedside of at the comfort of your bed? Well, is it okay for you to wake up and go to your class? So for virtual learning, I feel like it's a dialogue whereby it has to be shared, and also apart from the council level, but also need to see at the faculty heads, because I believe like schools like business management and studies, maybe they are okay with it. So it's an ish situation, but it also needs the faculty heads. So as a council leader, you need also to work with the faculty and see the uniqueness nature of the faculty, and if that faculty really needs that online learning, or for them, it's quite challenging.
Okay, so to continue with those discussions.
Yeah.
Soy, would you want to comment?
So we ask ourselves, where did these online classes begin from? It's the onset of COVID. We weren't allowed to congregate at the university, and the need came in. After we were allowed to come back to the university, what happened? In my faculty, I had discussion with my dean, that is Professor Ayub Gitau, and we successfully reintroduced a majority of physical classes. We are at around 60% to 78% of most of the courses being taught in engineering, we're doing it physical. If we were able, as a governor and as a student from Faculty of Engineering, to bring on board that, what can deter us from getting this done across the entire university?
Okay, well said. Then there are the other issues that I had also highlighted. Is there anything that you are able to do for the students with regards to some of those issues that have continued to come up? Yes, you can continue.
So when I started also, I talked about having a good working relationship between the administration and the association. And number two, striking a good strategic partnership between the corporate world, the government of the day in the country. And if you have been following some of my posts in the recent past in social media, I've been able to make steps at a personal level at SOI to engage with people in the current government. This will help us in having a discussion around the disbursement of help loans. How are we able to ensure that the state of affairs in the institution can be resolved? When you talk to the university, there is a monetary crisis. How can we resolve this? By going beyond the borders of our country and the confines of the university to ensure we have sponsors and investors who can come to chip into this. So this generally goes beyond the university territory, and how are we poising ourselves to ensure that they are coming on board? And I have been doing that.
Thank you. Malith?
Thank you so much. We are working around making a better university as collectively as the community that is here. And we have had partners that are willing to work with us. And as a refugee, I have had partners with some of the organizations that will be interested in coming in, not on the aspect of the refugee, but now they are hosting, University of Nairobi is hosting most of us, so they are willing to even partner and come up with projects that refugee students will do as a contribution to the world-class university that we have. Yes, and then on the same, I'm coming up with called Malith Care Fund, because there is a lot of complaint on Kuinama. I think you've heard of that, and that is a very common word the students are using. And then I have gone to Klabu, I have gone to most of the places, and I have found some of the students with very small challenges that if I, as a person, become humane enough to help them, and then I'll be in a position to make a comrade not go hungry at night. And that is what I'm focusing on. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We will revisit the issue of the fund, but for now, let's continue with Gonda.
So to point on that, on collaboration, I think this is not something under my manifesto, because it's something that I've done. When I served as AMSUN Sports Secretary, during my second tenure, it was that time whereby the professional bodies were not funded. Ask any medical student. The professional bodies at that time were not funded, but as a sports secretary, I was able to carry all our sporting activities from our faculty, from first year to sixth year, we have Amsun jerseys and Unsa jerseys. Like, we are the most equipped, I can humbly say, we are the most equipped faculty in terms of sporting activities. And this is not something that I wrote it down as my manifesto, but it's something that I did when I was given that capacity. So having Gonda here as the Unsa president, I feel like we'll have a lot in terms of corporate linkage. Also, I have my own and very hardworking vice chair, that is Madam Sifa Kinoti, also serving as engineering. I know that she had that connection with the corporates and the outside world. So I'm here again repeating that we don't want to look at the situation whereby what does the university offer to us, but what are we giving to the university? Because at the end of the day, if we look at what the university is going to give us, even the university is also struggling to make sure that we are intact and we remain as a top-class university. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that input, and it is our hope that whichever of you gets to win will effect the promises that you have given in your manifesto and even here with us. And so at this point, I would want to ask each of us in 1 minute to share with the voters and the electorate, those who are going to vote you in, what is your leadership philosophy? In 1 minute, what is your leadership philosophy? We will start with Soy.
My leadership philosophy, from where I come from a certain rural area in Bomet, deep inside. I'm just a village boy trying to conquer in the city. My leadership philosophy is inspiring people to do the things that they love to do and they want to do with great faith and hope, doing it with due diligence and ensuring that they can stand where I'm standing here today and conquer. Thank you so much.
We will proceed to you, Malith.
Thank you. My leadership philosophy is having a stand. And in that, it comes with a lot that goes around integrity and accountability. For you to lead people, you have to have a stand. Even to your own self as a person, you have to have your own principles. And we struggle so much to achieve all that we give as a manifesto because we don't have a stand and our integrity is questionable. So that is my leadership principle. Thank you.
Thank you. Gonda?
My leadership philosophy and principle is team leadership. Even as a president, I'm sure that even if I'm not around, at least my vice chair can be there and represent us, my treasurer. So forever I've been in leadership. I feel like I've been working together with people whom we've been sharing the same dream and same vision. That is why, as a part of team leadership, is that you have integrity, transparency, and accountability. And I promise you, as Team Gonda, since this is my 4th year in leadership, if I was not that person that have these principles, I think comrades and even my faculty heads could not even dare give me this platform to even have an opportunity to serve them at a 4th year term and also as the aspirant University of Nairobi president. Thank you.
All right. Now, this is the next question. I would want you to share with us what your view is on things such as the use of money to influence voters and delegates in your case. We'll start with you, Malith.
Thank you so much. The use of funds to influence elections is not something that should be bought because we are all students, and as we come in, we are to serve. And for them to vote for us generally, we don't have to bring in the aspect of finances to influence their votes. Because if you do that and you come to office, the question will be, why will I listen to you as a person, yet I bought your vote? So we don't have to use finances to influence the votes. Yeah.
Okay. Gonda?
I think that's a very tricky question because outside here, there's, I don't know which of among us who is being labeled, but there is a money team outside here, whereby it's really splashing a lot of money. But anyway, I don't believe that money can buy loyalty as much as you are a leader. I think your leadership traits can be seen by anyone who is really into leadership. So personally, I don't believe that this is not a bidding war. It's it's something that we are trying to do to show that we can serve. So maybe if in terms of your leadership you feel like money can do something, then well and good. But outside here, you can even ask, even some people are asking, why am I vying? But because I believe in integrity and my principle I have as a leader, then I present myself like that. So I don't have any political guy who is behind me. I don't have any sponyo out here, but I am Gonda and I'm here with my agendas. So if you're going to take them, it's all right. If not, then go to the money team and you'll see what will be served with. Thank you.
The money team.
I don't know.
Sorry.
No, from the right from the decision or from the time that you asked that question, it means you had something in mind. Perhaps we'll find that out after this debate. Anyway, campaigning is an essential part of getting this to the presidential seat. How do you campaign? You need to go for photo shoots, do posters here and there, mobilize around. Can you do that without money?
But so the question is, the use of money to influence the decision of the delegates, not to fund your campaign process.
Having a student who has stood up and said, I'm going to vie for the position of governor or secgen at the faculty level, they are people of great intellect. If anybody wants to give them money, I can tell you, they will gladly receive it. But when that time comes, they will make a wise decision of who can take this association to the next level. So that is a question you should be asking now to the people who are vying at the faculty level. Will that money change what they had decided? Will it influence their vote?
So you see no problem with that?
I haven't said I see no problem in that.
Which is why we asked.
I haven't said I see no problem in that.
Do you see a problem with that?
Personally, I haven't been using money to influence the voter. So I don't see the impact of that in these elections. Perhaps those who are doing so can tell us what is the impact of giving those monies to the voters.
Now, thank you for those sentiments. We hope that the electorate will be able to make the decision independent of the influence of money. But as well, while we are still talking about money, there is the issue of how funds are used corruptly when now people get into office. What do you think about that? Have you observed it before? And what do you think about that, even as we come near to the end of this conversation? Let's start with you, Gonda.
As a leader, I think I have a track record from the previous government. I've never, ever had an issue with the embezzlement of funds at any point. Even serving at my faculty head, I've never had such a history. I don't think if by any chance that through this process and through this leadership of mine, the leaders have accessed, I don't think at council level, maybe such a thing may cross my mind. That is why I feel like as a leader, I stand firm as one of my principles, and honesty and transparency, integrity. So I feel like personally, I won't be the different Gonda that I was before, because I had the opportunity to do so when I was at faculty head. But now, as a president, why should I do so? So I'm firm enough, and I know that personally, money and student issues will not see me there. Thank you.
Okay. Malith?
I can say that with the issues of money, I'm not having a problem with them. And we will even come back to review our budget. We have to come up maybe a shortage of money that we are given to use, or a surplus of it. And I can say my Unsa money, when I entered into office, I'm given 12,000 maybe with all the allowances. When I entered the office, I asked myself, this Unsa money is something that I'm given, yet I didn't have it in my budget as a student. So I said, what will I do with this money to share my leadership on the position I have been given with the rest of my friends and others? And I came up with this. I said, there was a student who dropped out of school in Form 2. So I took that money. Whenever my Unsa money comes in, I pay school fees for that student. And what I look so much forward to is having an accommodative leadership whereby we share. I might be in the position, but I'll be helping some of the needy students outside or those who are having challenges, even with my own money, not even the Unsa budget. So the Unsa money is safe in my hands. And I will say that we will do much more, even to the extent of having my own pocket money and resources to help others. So with the question of integrity, when it comes to money, I have a big heart that gives, not that take.
And a big pocket.
Pardon?
All right.
Thank you.
Let's move to Soy.
University of Nairobi Students Association has set a framework of doing, preparing the budgets for the council. And number two, there is a framework of how we do accounting after we've been given the funds, perhaps to do an event or two. And from the previous government, there has been any contradiction because we normally account the funds and then we normally write a report, account for the funds we are given, and hand it over to the office of the dean. And from what has been there hasn't been any problem. The problem which we have been having is that the amount of we've been allocated for by the university isn't enough. When I'll be getting to office, I'll be looking forward to which are the ways in which Constitution stipulates whereby we can raise more finances to run the activities of our association. So that isn't a thing which we should be discussing because it's not an issue now, embezzlement of funds.
Okay, that's interesting. We hope that those accounts will be shared with the students. And thank you all for the comments you have given. In view of time, we may not be able to take more of the questions that we had for you, but the good thing is that you have all come up with manifestos, which we believe are circulating among the students and the delegates, and they'll be able to judge from that what you intend to do as you get into office, and we will also be able to hold you accountable again once that process is done. And so as we come to the end of this debate that I believe has been heated, we would want to cool things down a bit for you guys, and also just let our viewers know that our leaders are not tied up with their ties and that's straight-faced all the time. And so if you have a talent or something that you do quite well other than leadership, we would want you to show us that. If you can sing, if you can dance. We wish we had a ball, you would have dribbled for us. Nonetheless, we would want you to show us something like that before you give us a parting shot. Who would want to go first?
I think mine is a bit quite easy to do. I'm a good listener. I listen to people really good when they tell their stories. So I can't be silent so that they can say.
All right.
Yeah.
But we know you and we are aware you're a good singer. So kindly give us a chorus. I'm sure from the choir, really. We would not lack one.
Let that come last.
Last?
Yeah.
Okay. Gonda or Malith, who do I to go second?
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
And then when you say it's ladies first, I should be the first in this team to be the president, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you. I can't dance without a tune, so I don't know if you...
You need a tune?
See, you asking if what you can do best. I dance.
Okay. Would we?
Not this, from my home. I dance from my home.
Okay, can you allow us to imagine the tune and then you can dance?
If you imagination, just imagine me dancing and then it will come like
we
that.
have you here. We have you here. We are not taking a no for an answer today. Just a few moves right in front of that.
Okay.
And you can sing as well. We won't put you on the mic, so it's
I'm not
okay.
good in singing, but I dance.
Okay.
And I can't make it without
the tune.
Yes.
Too bad.
Too bad.
We hope probably in your term, if you win, then we'll be able to witness you dance. Gonda, are you ready?
If you have a ball here, I can do anything.
Sorry?
If there's a ball here, I can do anything you want me to do. Because I'm a sportsman, I'm a football player, so that's my passion, and I love football. So anything to do with football, I'm here. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Take it now?
Yes, you can take it away.
Okay. I like to sing the chorus of the hymn that I love most. and it goes, and my anchor holds, it firmly holds through this journey, the way I will hold onto the association when I become the president, the way we will bring together everybody in the university to hold onto this presidency to ensure everything comes in order. And it goes, and it holds my anchor holds, blow your wildest then, O gale, though my back so small and frail, by his grace I shall not fail. And it holds my anchor holds, my anchor holds. It firmly holds through this journey to the presidency. He has been faithful, and we are hoping when we get there, we'll do this one-year term with him. It will really hold.
Thank you. That is well done. We appreciate that. We hope to see more as well from the other leaders. But for now, we will take a parting shot from each of you. And so we will start with Gonda, and then Malith, and then we will finish with you. So give us a parting shot in the next 1 minute.
So my parting shot, comrades, we've been here for a long journey. Since I was here in 5th year, we've seen leadership being transited from one leadership to another. This year, I feel like with Team Gonda, you have that leadership that has comrades' interest at heart. And with Team Gonda, we have a family and a team that is really ready to serve you. And also, it's not all about money. It's not all about where you are coming from. It's not all about which cause you are doing, but it's all about leadership. So bottom line, comrades deserve better. And Team Gonda is here for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the comrades and the university at large. We are a world-class university that values leadership. And in this leadership, we bring in more development to our school. And to the comrades, we are one. Let's dare do things in the way we are and in our face as this university. Let's keep on preaching our values. Let's keep on practicing our values rather than preaching them. Thank you.
When I started, I talked about revitalization of comrades' agenda. If you listened to my clip that was played, I talked about soy being the equalizer. It is a time that has come for the delegates and the comrades at large to decide between availability of their president to run the association as opposed to unavailability due to unavoidable circumstances, that is doing classwork and ward rounds. A choice between a student who will be ready to listen, a president who will be ready to listen to you all, both from the students to the leaders to someone who their ego is on top and trying to do the money games here and there to influence the vote. The choice goes to the delegates. As we seek to go forward, is a choice between someone who has started to create links with the corporate world to people who are just there for themselves. The choice is unto you, the delegates. I look forward to serving in this association as the president and ensuring we institutionalize our association such that when somebody else comes in, they will be picking it up from where we left, not necessarily having to start afresh. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you to all the candidates, first of all, for availing yourselves to be able to give an account to the students concerning what your intentions are and allowing them to be able to know you more than what they are able to gather from their interactions with you as well as your manifestos. We are also grateful to you, our viewer, for watching us and being intentional about critically analyzing the quality of leaders that we have on the ballot this time around. It is our hope that in the same manner you'll be able to look into their manifestos, the documents that they have provided to us to be able to see what they stand for, as well as the track record that they have behind them, remembering that they are not first-timers to offices of leadership at the University of Nairobi. As we had mentioned when we began, that the University of Nairobi is a world-class institution shaping the next crop of citizens, not just in academia, but in leadership and every other area. As the next crop of voters and those who influence policy in this country, it is your responsibility and our call to you as well to take the leaders who you are electing into office take them to task concerning the promises that they give you and their conduct throughout their service. As we had come up in the first segment of this program, all of you are members of the University of Nairobi Student Association and have the right and the responsibility to be part of this process. And therefore, as we prepare for the election come Friday, that is the 24th of March, 2023, ensure that you are found to be able to cast your vote for the faculty leaders who will then go ahead to be the delegates to vote for one of these three candidates. Ensure that the delegate you vote for will have your best interest at heart. As we come to the end of this segment of the debate, I would want to remind us that in the ship of life, like a spaceship, there are no members, there are no passengers. Everyone is crew. Everyone has a responsibility. Ensure that you play yours and play yours as you ought so that you do not point fingers or cast blame at the end of this 1 year. It is our hope that we will be able to see you again once the term is done, and we'll be able to compare notes, and hopefully the report will be good. I have been your host, Emma Jaber, and now I will hand us over to another segment of this program where we will speak to some of the students and get to see whether they are content with what these leaders have been able to share. We hope to hear from you as well on all our social media platforms. Feel free to ask your questions and your comments. We will be keen to respond to them. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the panel discussion. As you can see, we have a different set of guests. These are students from the University of Nairobi who've been present during the fiery debate we've just had. And of course, we'd like to know their sentiments on the debate. On the panel, we have Kristin Karanja from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, as well as Griffin Okwemo, the Sports and Social Welfare representative from the Faculty of Law. So tell us, what are your sentiments on the debate?
Thank you very much, Hope, and I'm glad to be here. It has been a very fiery. It took some time to gain momentum, but it picked pace, and it's been intriguing as much as, because we all had expectations for it, and I feel like it has partially met my expectations given everything that needed to be addressed there, and I feel like the moderator did a wonderful job. Outside of this, I will speak more on the issues that have been addressed later, but in general, very apt.
Hey, thank you, Kristin. How about you, Griffin? What are your sentiments on the conversation that's just been had?
Thank you very much, Ms. Nabalayo. First and foremost, I am quite disappointed that these three aspirants could not form just one team, because all these people have, from this debate, probably have managed to demonstrate that all of them are capable. And coming from the background that all of them are coming from the previous Unsa, I would have wished that they formed one team. Nonetheless, to each their own and each their own interests. So a lot of my expectations from this debate has been met. I've gotten to hear what SO is about, what Ms. Monica Malith is about, and what Mr. Gonda is about. Therefore, the future is quite hopeful for the university student. Thank you.
And from their manifestos, what would you say is something that speaks to the needs of an average University of Nairobi student? What is that one thing that you could highlight from either of their manifestos?
You look at Soy, it's about where he said something that he's the equalizer and joining the corporate world, linking students to the corporate world and government. And this ensures that what next after university is catered for. I look at Malith and she talks about the kitty on the kitty for students, Malith Fund. And I'm looking forward to seeing that fund coming into actualization, whether he wins or loses. I hope someone will extend their hand and have this fund being actualized, even though if it's not Malith winning, then if it's Soy, we have a Soy fund, and you get ideas from this other person. And from Gonda, I get that he's very heavy on sports. As a sports rep, I'll be very, very intrigued to see more going on, because post-COVID, the sports department did have challenges, and slowly the current overall sports rep has really helped in running through the runway, and what we'll then have from the next government is probably improvement in sports. Thank you.
How about you, Kristen? But before you speak, maybe I can share some sentiments that people on Twitter are talking about. For example, Carol Atetwe claims that the internet connectivity in the hostels is an empty promise. And Chris speaks about the candidates addressing issues to do with school fees and help and the hostel fee. And we also have Titus talking about physical classes resuming. Would you agree with these students and say that these are some of the issues that the candidates should focus most on, whether or not they're voted on?
Thank you, Hope. I think the sentiments from the student population are actually very clear and are the situation on ground in the sense, because when you think about it, and even in what they have said out here, whether that's Malith through the fund, sports, addressing our school fees for students, having funded someone, physical classes where Soy will tell us that he was able to collaborate with the faculty and dean in order to advocate for STEM students to have in-person learning. So I think from each speaker, they were speaking in terms of what their previous docket has been. There was that aspect of that, not so much what would be their role going forward, but maybe we'll see that come out more even as they take up their roles in whichever capacity, whether that's through professional bodies or Unsa Council itself. And that's why I feel like what he had said earlier about them possibly collaborating would have been an ideal scenario, because those are three different issues that have all been addressed differently. But if they had come together, that would make a very apt team for UN and where that UN is going to go. Internet, I believe, is what would be, I wish I had a lot more on how the internet bit would be done, because even in, for instance, this is March Women's Month, in terms of what the theme has been globally, it's about technology, innovation and whatnot. So I hope they can play more into that bit, because even in the national government, aligning yourself to that so that you can get collaborations and get funded, because they bring up funding as an issue in a sense. So if, for instance, the government wants to connect the whole country, 100,000 kilometers of internet, tap into that, say, strengthen the hotspot for the hostels accommodation, so that even as I think about, because we have to be real about what the capacity of University of Nairobi is and what it can take in terms of physical learning. So in that sense, if there is virtual learning, which is inevitable now, especially for the social sciences, I might be biased speaking from that sense. social sciences, if you can leverage your internet learning, that would make it apt for all students, and not just the telecom bundle in that sense where it limits you to how much you need. It's like a capped thing. Imagine if we had all fiber for all students.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kristen. Griffin, you have served as a student leader, and I believe you're in the position to tell us what exactly students want. And with that, you can identify some of the gaps that perhaps have not been addressed by the aspiring presidential candidates. So maybe you can tell us about that and some mitigations to them.
Yes. So first, thank you very much for the question. First of all, the user that just forwarded that text covering on internet connectivity, health, school fees, physical classes has really covered much of the challenges that we've been having as a student body. And so for internet connectivity, I would like to applaud the Director ICT and the ICT department for really trying their best, and the Melvin government for really trying to push for more connectivity, and where respective student leaders at faculty level kept following up, you will see that there was improvement. You'll find that there will be change in where the Wi-Fi routers will be placed, like my Faculty of Law. There's an addition of such routers. However, now there's the other challenge of internet bundles offered to students. You find that it's 15 GB. You have a lot of classes to be attending to, a lot of webinars that are supposed to professionally nurture you. So by today's 22nd, by 20th or by 15th, my bundles, my 15 GB is usually over. So probably they should try and negotiate on behalf, once they're elected into office, negotiate on behalf of the students how we'll increase from 15 GB to say even 30, 25. Let's see. Then after that, we write reports on what we get feedback forms from students. How are they appreciating this 25 GB? Is it enough? Can we get partnerships? The problem of health is another one. I didn't hear it from them, most likely because probably they've not experienced these challenges or heard from the students. But there's the challenge of health in this university, in this sense, where when you're not in session, it is usually difficult to get medical cover from the school facility. However, there are emergency cases that they handle, but that should be improved. That policy on if you're not here physically, you don't come to this university health service, it should be improved.
Internet and health, and apart from that, I'm sure there are a whole lot of issues, but as we wind up, I'd really like to hear about your participation. Will you vote, yes or no?
For me, at our faculty, Faculty of Law, there will be no elections because we just have one team that is going unopposed. So I won't be voting for anyone, and that has really isn't the work for me, and I'm grateful. But then I would have wished that there was a contest, but it's not there.
And
so
how about you, Kristen?
Personally, I have to vote because I believe in exercising my right and duty in that sense. So I have to show up, and then also having put my face out there and give an insight into this. You can't just be giving airplay for that. So I need to follow up my speech with actions, and I feel like in terms of where or what I would hope for the gaps to be mitigated, and what he's answered in terms of internet covers it in the gist of it. What I didn't hear is mental health, which is huge. And in as much as he says health, there is UHC that has been launched. We applaud that, but the emphasis on mental health, because when you address the issues at the core, the cause effects, it's a broad range of issues. Financial leads into mental health. Lack of finances for even meals, yokuinama, it's mental health. Internet, mental health, because I've missed class. Now they're taking screenshots of your attendance. So it weighs in on the mind, and I feel like that is something that should be covered, and thank you so much. I hope you all vote in that sense.
Thank you very much. That was Kristen and Griffin, our student representatives for this show. And as they said, we should all turn up to vote. It is our democratic responsibility as students and as citizens of Kenya. After this, we will all be required to log into our portals, of which voting has been made easier through a link. And with that, vote responsibly. This has been UNC TV. Hope Nabalayo.